Happy Friday. I'm doing well. Figured we could go around and do some introductions. I'll give you a little brief history of myself. My name is Travis Spaulding. I'm the heavy haul tactical manager within Combined Transport. When I first started at the company, I actually started in the pilot car coordinating division. So I was assigned and charged for finding all of the escorts for our oversized loads that would require them, front car, high pole, chase car. It gave me the ability to start learning routing, talking with our drivers, becoming familiar with the processes. And then as I got my feet under me there, I was given the opportunity to move up into dispatch and sales and work more directly with the drivers and customers. And now at that point I was doing quoting, working on routing, talking with the drivers, coordinating offloading, loading, and then develop relationships with customers. And at the point where I'm at now, I do sales as well still, and then focus on making sure our drivers are happy, customers are happy, and then the internal office team is happy as well. If you would like to introduce yourself, maybe if you want to give a little background of who you are, it would be appreciated. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can at least say your name and maybe what division you're in.
My name is A.D. Logan. I'm out of Sacramento. I'm a driver student, but I have a little bit of experience. I'm just hoping that I can, get to where I want to, with this company and, move myself forward, move myself up to do the ranks of flatbed to potentially heavy haul.
Perfect. Well, glad to hear that. Welcome.
My name is Jennifer Nettles. I have a couple of years experience in reefer welding.
Okay, hey, no problem. Pleasure and welcome to the team.
Thank you.
John Williams, out of Twin Falls, Idaho. Just happy to be working again.
Okay.
Refrigerated division.
Perfect. Welcome.
I'm Rick Mallory. Just got done with CDL school, and got my CDL and just ready to work.
Perfect.
Kids are kind of grown up, not married, so just me and my little Chihuahua, and just ready to work. I don't have nothing else to do.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome to the team. How's orientation for everybody? Are you guys liking it?
Phenomenal.
Anything you'd like to see different? Anything you'd like to add to it at all? Change it up at all? Anything?
Definitely something I've never seen in all my years in the trucking.
Okay, that's good. That means we're separating ourselves and trying to make a difference in what's a really hard industry for everybody. So
It'd be extremely hard to go out and say anything negative.
Mhm.
Anything.
well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
It's literally just a culture here. I've been around, just different, avenues and whatnot, deal with business, and everything's always about culture.
hmm
If you don't have the right culture, it doesn't matter. You can have just a group of phenomenal people. If you don't have the right culture, they're not going to stick around. And I've noticed that, here, the culture is, it has a family-based kind of a culture, but it's like really relaxed, and I hear a lot of forgiveness. Like if you make a mistake, you can move and fail forward and keep moving. And that's something, that's really big. It's like you're not running around here like on eggshells.
hmm
So that's what I've noticed about, everybody is just like, okay, I know I messed up. How do I correct it? How do I move myself forward so that I can be better? And that's the only way that, I see, me wanting to be around anything is that you have the ability to become better. Because most companies you go to, you make one mistake and you're out the door. Well, how do you learn?
hmm
So I really appreciate the fact that I'm around people that, it's like from the White House to here. I'm hearing this from everywhere. Like, I've made mistakes. They're telling me about the mistakes and they're talking about how they could have corrected it. And I'm just like, that's different. And that's what, that's what I noticed about the culture. That's everything.
Yep. I honestly, I couldn't agree more. It's one of those where I make mistakes continually, all the time. I learn from them. I grow. And it's one of those where if you're not given the opportunity to do that, how can you, right? If you don't know what you're doing wrong, then you don't know you're doing anything wrong. And it's okay to fail, and it's important to at least own up to it, though, and know that you made a mistake, and that's how you're able to start correcting it moving forward. And that's partially of what we're all about, is we want to create success for everybody, and we want to see everybody get to whatever their end goal might be, and we'll do everything we can to facilitate that. So, one thing I want to touch on is driver growth opportunities. I know everybody here is in the reefer division, but that doesn't mean that you need to stay there if you don't want to. We have implemented and started a new flatbed training course. We have glass trainers. We have heavy haul trainers. There's going through the due process and, cutting your teeth, working your way up, putting your effort in, but whatever you put in, we'll do everything we can to give it tenfold back to you. So, don't think because you're in reefer you have to stay there if you don't want to. We have reefer drivers that have moved over into flatbed, and then they've been there for about a year with open deck experience and gained the knowledge of the different commodities, how to secure, how to tarp, doing good trip planning. And then, we've moved people up into step deck at that point, into the tactical heavy haul side of things. And then moved them up into multi-axle even. We've got people that have been here for years with us that started out in flatbeds and grew up into 7+ axles, and people pulling 9s, 10s. So just know, if you do have that as an ambition, just talk to us, be open, let us know what you want to do, and we're going to do what we can to achieve that for you. Is there anybody here that does want to, work towards that path? I know you said you did.
Yeah.
Is everybody else kind of just wanting to be in reefer for a while, see how that
I
goes?
thought about flatbed because I climb very well and I'm all around type. I can get around really well.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty strong, kind of small, but I'm pretty strong. Throw those straps over
Mhm.
and just strap them on the other side. Watch videos and so on and so forth. But I'm a hands-on type person, so
Yeah.
I don't only go off of videos. But yeah, I might be interested maybe and start with flatbed. I like to take steps.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not trying to go from reefer to heavy haul.
Yeah. No, we wouldn't do that, right? Because that's not setting you up for
Yeah.
success, right? We want to ensure that by the time you get to the point where you're going to, we have given you all the tools and knowledge necessary to be able to perform at an optimal level there. We don't want to see anybody fail here. That's not how we operate.
I used to laugh when I'll be on the freeway and I'll see them carrying the wings to those windmills.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I used to be like, that is the funniest thing ever. Just look crazy to me, but now I'm used to it.
Yep, and we ship those. We ship windmills too. We have a whole entire wind division and fleet. We have double schnabel trailers. We ship windmill bases, blades, you name it, nacelles, bed frames to them. We do it all. So it is pretty crazy to see 110 foot long blades going down the road and someone walking behind them steering it. So
What's in this cell?
Wow.
that is, and I could be wrong about this. It is basically part of the gearing that goes inside the main hub of the windmill itself up at the top.
So what's the thing behind the hub that it attaches to that turns around on top of the tower?
That I believe, I think it's either the bed frame base, but I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, it's a good question though. I don't know.
When they do maintenance, they're climbing inside that tube, that big tower.
Yeah, so I've
Inside
seen videos of when they're climbing up into those, and I'm absolutely terrified of heights. So hard pass for me on that. But yeah, no, thank you. I mean, those once they get fully built are hundreds of feet tall, and
So you guys coordinate with some crane companies to erect these things?
Yep. We ship them in sections depending upon how tall they are. They go from base to maybe 2 mid sections, and then the top, and then you've got all the other components that go with it. And yeah, they have the pads fully laid built, and they have crane crews out there building them up as we ship them in. It's pretty spectacular to see. So.
Where do you pick them up out of?
No, you're good. It all really depends on when there's wind projects, who the customer is, where they're shipping out of. So it could be anywhere in the country.
I've seen them at Port Lewiston,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know if it's Lewiston. I guess it's Lewiston.
We ship out of, we've shipped out of Hutchinson, Kansas. Siemens and Mesa right there is a big shipping distributor for them as well. So sometimes we have stuff coming in from the port. Just kind of all depends. But wind right now is a little quiet at the moment. But when it gets up and roaring, it's pretty hopping. So, so one of the things I do want to touch on, and I know that this isn't going to necessarily pertain to reefer necessarily, but it can carry over somewhat, and it's going to be for anybody that does want to eventually move up. Cargo claims. So it's inevitability, right? Accidents happen. It's just the way life is. What can we do about it? Well, we can be proactive about it. One of the biggest things that we need to make sure we do is if there's ever pre-existing damage on anything at all whatsoever, prior to picking it up, like have it get notated by the shipper. It's basically, it covers us at that point. And it's absolutely critical to fighting, and preventing claims from happening and us incurring those charges and damages. Because if we have no fallback on our end, then we're usually stuck with it. So if you ever pick anything up or you happen to notice there's damage on it, take pictures of it, inform your dispatcher, let them know, notate it on the bill of lading, have them sign off on it. They're the shippers, and then it helps protect that. And then if you're ever concerned about way anything's loaded, even in a reefer, if you've got stuff tilted, leaning, I've had some buddies that worked for General Produce when I was growing up in Mount Shasta. They're wrapping, loading material into a reefer van. If you notice that you've got material leaning, anything doesn't look right, don't leave. Call your dispatcher, let them know what's going on, send them the pictures, because then we can be proactive and we can actively start working on preventing problems that could occur down the road instead of being reactive. It happened and then we have nothing to go back to. So some things to just keep in mind there. This doesn't pertain to reefer, so I do apologize. Anybody that's hauling equipment, and this would be good for you to know in the future, cover your windshields. We have road debris that happens. You kick up rocks, anything. I can't tell you how many countless windows have been broken just because a simple tarp or a piece of cardboard or anything was not put over that windshield. It's absolutely critical, and it's super easy to prevent. It takes like 5 minutes.
Not on the truck.
No, on equipment. So if we're hauling anything from graders to dozers to excavators, you name it, even we haul trucks. Anything that's got a windshield, if it's front facing, cover it. Otherwise,
What would you use to cover it?
so you can use cardboard, bungee, and tarps, and you can use some padding. Yes.
In the cage, we have windshield covers that we already did, gear our GM drivers with.
Mhm.
But yeah, some of the older drivers may not realize that we have them.
Have them?
Come in and get them.
Okay, so that's good to know.
They're padded with loops, so you can use shock cord instead of bungee. Yeah.
That's perfect then. So I'll make sure to send a fleet out on that because I think it needs to be a good reminder. And then if anything happens in transit that you ever notice, you feel, even driving down the road with reefer, you feel something shift in the back. And, I don't know what your guys' protocol is on any of that. But if you feel like something's happening, stop, call in, notify somebody. Don't wait till you get to delivery. It's better for us to know now, get ahead of it, to prevent those types of situations. And again, I do apologize. I know that this doesn't pertain to you guys, but it is important because I know that it's being recorded. It goes out to our fleet. Everybody needs to hear and know about it because it's better for us to all work towards success. We have to deal and battle with a lot internally, and I know you guys are dealing with a lot out on the road too. So whatever we can do to help each other achieve success is what we want to try to work towards. One thing I want to put back on you guys is I want to talk about culture a little bit. What does culture within a company mean to you? I know that you touched on it a bit. Does anybody else have any input, anything that they would like to see as part of a culture within the company?
Just not yelling at the drivers if they made a mistake. Just talk to them like people, like adults. Because I've had jobs where they've insulted me, and we don't need that. I'm not getting the job done that way. We just gotta be dealing with this as adults. Like I said, everybody being accountable for what they do, but understanding that we're not perfect. Every single one of us. We don't have the right to be saying we're better than you, and you're just a small little speck. Nobody wants to work for that.
I couldn't even agree more. It's one of those where that is something that we try to move away from. Is there's always been this negative stigma with drivers, and I feel absolutely terrible that it is that way because you're part of a team that without you we don't have jobs and we can't function, and what you provide is a service not a lot of people know how to do. I'm the first person to tell you I've never driven a truck. The experience I have and the knowledge I have is from all of the drivers. Everybody that's worked in the office, passed through combined, everything I know is because of you guys, and you're invaluable assets to the team. No, it's understandable that people can get frustrated, but nobody should ever yell at anybody. We should all treat each other with respect and kindness. And I'm going to be the first person to say that I'm going to look at what I could have done better before I point the finger at anybody else. And I think that's a good message for everybody. What could we all have done better to help each other before we jump on somebody? Because that's not fair to do, especially if we don't even understand what the full situation is. And
Would
so
they say you're your own worst critic? Most people are.
Yep.
You just feel it like, holy crap, why did they do that? And you self-talk yourself down.
Mm-hmm.
When the reality is that everybody has to go through that.
Yeah, it's true. I'm after this, I guarantee you I'll probably be done and then go, man, did I do a good job? Did I say the right things? Could I have done more? Could I have done something better, something different? I am that way. I have been my whole entire life, and I don't think it's ever going to change. And so I feel like I'm right there with you. I'm being your own toughest critic.
And I appreciate the entire attitude of, just take responsibility for what you've done.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else got
That
anything?
they can be
There's a lot of
trusted.
things that I've heard here so far. I've never even met anybody in the companies that I've worked for, except for one company. I met my dispatcher or whatever, and the yard manager, but nothing like this.
Mhm.
And then I like the way that if you guys say something, it's a follow-up with it. It's just not like, don't do this. It's a follow-up, because you could have, or this or that. It's a softer way of saying it. And as long as I'm treated with respect, and because I'm gonna always treat people with respect, and I expect to be treated the way I'm gonna treat people the way I want to be treated. But sometimes things can go left and there's no comeback from it. You know what I mean? No matter how hard you try. So things like that do happen, but I just love the all-around feel of what I'm feeling here, and I feel like I found a home so far.
Well, good. I appreciate that, and that's the way we want to make everybody feel.
This is amazing.
We try to do a good job of, it's one thing to talk the talk, but you need to walk the walk, right? And actions can speak. Everybody knows actions speak a lot louder than words, and we can talk it all we want, but unless we actually show you and prove to you what we want to set as expectations for you guys of us, if we fail on that, then we're not doing our job right. So, anybody got anything else they would like to add culture-wise?
So just a general thing that I've noticed in culture in our country is that there's been so many times that people have just lied straight out to us, and they just gloss right over it. And I think that destroys trust in general. And society doesn't work without trust. And the only reason people trust is that you're keeping your own integrity, and you can see that they're doing what they say they're going to do. Not just saying it, but actually doing it.
Agreed. And it's one of those too where I think it's really important to explain the why behind things, right? I'm that way. I don't want to take something. You can tell me what you need me to do, and sure, I'll do it, but I want to understand why. Why do you want me to do it? And I've found over the years of working combined, talking with the drivers, there's a big difference in communication and relationships when it's a, hey, I need your help doing this, and here's why I need your help doing this, versus a, hey, go do this, right? If we can all provide the why and the behind the scenes of what we need done, I think it goes a lot farther, and it kind of alludes to the trust aspect of things. Like, our intention is never, to be harmful, hurtful, make anybody feel bad, push anybody to do something they don't want to do. We want everybody to be doing what they feel comfortable doing, and and it's one of those where if we can convey that, it goes a lot farther than just talking to somebody and telling them what to do. It doesn't work that way. So.
Literally, like, did I have to come to Oregon to find respect? So, guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you touched on why. The reason why you do anything, if you don't have a reason why, you'll jump ship really quick.
Yeah.
What it is that you said you were going to do. If your wire's not strong enough, you're never gonna follow through with anything.
Yep. And that's a big thing for everybody here too. Communicate to us. If we are doing something wrong and we don't realize it, call us out on it. You know, be respectful about it, please, of course. You know, we're all humans. But call us out. Like, if we don't know, we can't fix it. And anytime we're doing something wrong, saying something in a way that might, you know, be construed as, disrespectful, like, call it out. You know, let people know so they can work on changing and being better.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're all here for, right?
Yeah.
We all want to succeed together.
Yeah.
So,
I'm pretty much, if had a load, you're not even gonna hear about me. You're not gonna even hear from me. Because I'm just like a hard runner, and I'm only gonna contact you if I need something. I
Mhm.
don't just don't bring up anything. I don't say anything just to say something. I have to have something to say. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm just ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
it's no, and it's one of those too where I know a lot of the times, you know, I've in the 8 years I've been at Combined, I've oriented quite a few drivers, you know, when they come over, and every driver's always chomping at the bit to like actually get out and get running. So I feel you, like, if your wheels aren't turning and you're not in your truck moving, it can be a little stir crazy for everybody. So you know, and it's one of those too where you bring up a really good point. I think everybody in the industry operates under no news is good news, right? So if we don't hear anything, we assume everything's going really well out on the road. If it's not, communicate, call, let us know, because I mean, that's what we all operate under, you know. So if, you know, we're checking and next thing we know something happened and we don't find out until the next day, or, you know, then, you know, that could lead to problems for everybody later down the road. So one other thing I do want to touch on really quick is sounds like there's driver handbooks have been sent out to everybody, and there's the ability to electronically sign them. And there's about 114 drivers that still need to sign their driver handbook. And what it's going to keep doing is it's going to literally just keep pestering the driver over and over and over until they sign it. So if there happens to be anybody that hasn't done that yet, please make sure to do so. And with that, I'd kind of like to open forum it at this point. Does anybody have any questions at all? Anything that they'd like to talk about?
Questions? I'm just ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything lined up already for over the weekend to head to, or?
I gotta go to the backup training,
Okay.
so.
Do
Get
you-
going, so I can get myself on the road, so I can get my own truck.
Hmm?
So I can-
Would there be any like future teams?
Like team driving, or yeah. I mean, we're always open to have team drivers, 100%, no matter what division that is.
Okay. So if I had someone like at my last company willing to come over,
Mm-hmm.
Would he be able to team with me, or?
Yeah, I don't see why not, as long as they pass everything. And it's very important too for yourself as well, because we do have recruiting bonuses. Make sure that if you bring them over, that they mention your name and go through that process to help yourself out.
Yeah,
But yeah, 100%, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, teams are always great to have.
keep it running.
Anybody else? All right, that's all I've got. So I appreciate everybody's time, and thank you for being a part of Combined. And, you know, I hope that we truly live up to what we talk about and the expectations. So